Welcome to the Sci-Fi Guys. I'm your host, Dave, and with me always is Chad and John. Today we're going to be talking a movie. I just call it a movie. A movie that was originally a video game series, and it is Wing Commander with the star-studded cast of Brian Prince Jr.
and William Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, and some other people. Okay.
Star-studded cast of all your teen movies out there.
Yeah, that's basically, they were like, oh, how can we meet up with all the teens and have a science fiction movie? Not so good. Anyway, this movie was done in 1999.
99.
Yep. Chad picked this out. So with that, okay, Chad, you get your questions starting now. Go.
All right, so you get to where Blair sits in a. I forget what they call those spaceships.
The Tiger Claw or the Rapier?
Rapier, the actual small fighter, not the when again.
The Rapier is the small fighter.
So he sits down and says, "Oh, Lieutenant Commander so and so. Well, he's not here. He's lost. He's dead." So what do you what do y'all think about that philosophy of you lose a fellow person in your fellow in arms, and you just write him off like, oh, he was never here. What y'all think about that philosophy?
John, you want to go first, or you want me to?
You can go ahead.
Okay, I hated it. I'm sorry. Being in the military, if we lost one of our own, we mourned for them. There was no way we were going to forget them. And that whole concept of, oh, well, they never existed. It's like their name is on the side of this plane. Why? What do you mean they never existed? I mean, which of course, yeah. So I just no.
I'm in full.
You gotta celebrate them, because if to say they never existed, meaning that their life had no meaning whatsoever, and they gave no contribution to your squadron, to your way of life, or anything. So no. John?
I'm in full agreement. I think the philosophy is whack. And bare minimum, if you're going to have that philosophy, definitely wipe the name off the ship before like some rando comes up and steps in it, because it's clearly been there for some time. The name could have been gone if you're going to have that philosophy. But also, I think the philosophy altogether is just crazy. Like that is like step one of grief is denial, and they're just sticking it out there hardcore, man. And that's not doing them any favors.
No
at all
favors whatsoever. No.
Well, you look at it. I mean, you watch this movie. Towards the end, the lieutenant commander finally comes. Oh yeah, we're gonna remember. We need to just embrace it, because it helps us out. It helps them out. Remember who they were. Why are they fighting for? And they fight for them. I mean, look at it with Matthew Lillard character was trying to go outside of into space to save his lover, or his Rosie.
Yeah.
I'm like, you pretty much those two characters just came in as like, I'm going to change this up. It did it for the good, but also it kind of made it more interesting than what it was.
Yeah, honestly, I think without the interaction between the characters, this movie would have been extremely dull.
Yeah.
The few and far between fight scenes and the ships are just that few and far between. It's like, okay, we got to run away, and then a couple times you get some explosions, and that's it. So it's like, if you didn't have any kind of interaction between people, but yeah, no, I agree with you. And I agree with John. The name should have been erased, or painted over a long, long, long time ago. And we will come back to this.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we will come back to this.
So we've seen a lot of space movies, like fight, like we've seen a lot of stuff, movies with space, with like how they fight in space. What did you think of the spaceships in this movie? I mean, like, what do they? What kind of the Tiger Claw? What did like stuff like that? What did it remind you of instead of a spaceship? It kind of reminded me of a submarine to me. How they was treating it like.
Oh, that's
Okay,
fair.
that is the tiger claw
Yeah.
that we saw in the movie. To me, it looks like a big burrito. I'm sorry. I was trying to do Battlestar Galactica, trying to like, okay, it could look like Battlestar Galactica, but
No.
it's not.
It kind of reminds me of just a double barrel shotgun, but like just the barrel,
Yeah,
just a sawed off barrel.
yeah. I mean, the rapiers were a lot better. Let me use here. Okay, so that's the rapier.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what does that remind you of?
A10.
The A10, exactly. It's an A10.
Big old Gatling gun in the front.
Front, big engines on the back, and then kind of short wings. So,
I mean, if
Yeah.
you,
I thought they did a good job on the rapier. Although I played the game back in the '80s when it was first out, and we'll get into that a little bit later. The ships look totally different. They were, I don't know what they were trying to do with this movie. I think they were really pushing to, hey, we need to save the A10s or something. Yeah,
So,
I don't
God
know
only knows.
what they were, but I mean, it is. It looks like a squattier, shortened version of an A10.
yeah. And that's, I mean, if you look at it, you look at the what was the enemy in this movie? Look at their ships. There was pretty
They are
compared
the
Karathi.
Karathi, yeah. Well, it's funny, and in the game, their ships kind of look like Cylon raiders.
Yeah.
In the movie,
Nah.
I don't know. What
It was just, and the thing is, it's like, and if you look at, well, that's one of the things later on we'll discuss. So, with Johnny, you got anything about spaceships? I know.
No, y'all pretty well hit it on the A10. I was gonna say kind of like a when I first saw the rapier, it kind of reminded me of the old is it a P40?
Yeah.
I think so. The low wing,
low wing,
kind of W shaped. Yeah, they kind of reminded me of that. But
Either
outside
that
of that, I
or
didn't have a whole lot of that.
an F4U maybe.
Yeah, you talking about the Corsair, F4U
Corsair. With the wing lower on the bottom, and it's kind of
squatted out. Yeah, you looking at the Corsair. So,
oh no, I was just thinking way older because of War Thunder. I didn't make it that far in the game to unlock an F4.
Who does? who's got time to? So, this is going to be, I think, the epic center. We can probably discuss a little bit more than just one word answers for this. The Pilgrims. Why were the people so afraid? Like, why were they on the Tiger Claw? They found Blair was a descendant of a half human, half pilgrim. Why were they so afraid of the word pilgrims?
Because they fought in the war and then they abandoned it. And that's basically what the movie said it was.
Yeah.
John, you start on this.
Overall, it just really didn't seem like they had a super strong reason. I mean, because at the end of the day, the Pilgrims were the ones they sent out to explore space, it seemed like, on the story perspective. So it seems like they would have been more generally, I guess, celebratory of the fact that they're the reason they kind of have space travel to begin with. And I get we kind of get this half-baked answer of, it's because, God, what was it? It wasn't strong.
They left, they were in the war and then they just deserted it.
But like they have these super strong senses and they try to become something more than human.
Became their own gods or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so they had a strong hubris. That's because they were successful. Like, if they hadn't been successful, sure, but like they were doing the thing. You guys just didn't like that they were doing the thing. You weren't them. It feels a little jealous to me overall,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is I mean, it was especially when you saw the XO, and his obvious bigotry uh,
mhm.
against the Pilgrims. I mean, I think of people of color, or I think of indigenous Americans, or whatever. I mean, just so many different ethnic groups, so many different
You
just
can't do
people groups
this.
that are out there. Exactly. And it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to be against you just because you are who you are, instead of what you've done, or standing on your own laurels. That just because you're a different race, different color, different creed, whatever, I'm going to uh, basically just put you down as much as I can. And of course, everyone seemed like that way, on the ship, with the exception of maybe Angel. At first, when they walked in, into the mess hall, and then everyone just kind of started, oh well, this guy. I can't understand why people do that, and why they would put such a big emphasis on it in this movie.
Right, because you look at it, Matthew Lillard character, Maniac, whether he changed his call sign to, was I thought I told you in the academy, well, you need to drop that cross and get rid of it. That way you wouldn't be judged that way. There was already, the background. You already pointed to that, but he kept it because it was his mom's. Oh, this was like, it was made lucky because look at, he flew the Defiant through from a black hole that was originally for the Pilgrims, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he did it by hand, by in the head, not by the computer.
Right.
Now you didn't find out that the captain of the Defiant was a pilgrim himself until later on. And the thing is, he found more confidence going to that captain than anyone else. Talked to him, he found something was drawing him to him. So, but the thing, if you look in the Pilgrim, you look it up. There was subsets in the Pilgrims. Like they say, Blair was more of a navigator. That's why he could do the math in the head a little bit better than.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot more if you read into it. They didn't do much explaining Pilgrims why. Besides, oh, they're supreme being. They left us in the war. They thought they're better than us and just left it at that.
Yeah, and I don't remember, and I did a little research, and I couldn't find anything in the games that talked about the Pilgrims at all.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't in there. It was just something that was added to this story, basically to make it more, I don't know,
Today, in today's times,
cringeworthy.
yeah,
I mean, honestly, I mean, it was, you know, they just take those situations and just don't even put that in there, and just make it, okay, Lieutenant, okay, we're going to see how well you do out here on the line. This is no longer training. This is no longer this. This is no longer that. Boom.
yeah.
Anything
Okay.
else anyone wants to add, or you got any more questions, Chad?
I got one more. Johnny, got anything else to add to that? Or all right, last one. So I had to ask, who was the best character out of this movie? Because I'm not going to go. I got I like one of them. I got two, but I want to see what y'all think.
Me, I like Admiral Toller, just because I like the actor. No, I mean, he had a hard job, trying to say, okay, hey, this is the only way we can do this. We've got to be able to block the way that they're getting in there, getting to our home base, and we're going to be short 2 hours. We've got to find a way to stall them. And then, hey, we can send the information and then do it. So,
Yeah.
John, who's yours?
I believe it's Paladin, the other pilgrim that we discover halfway through.
Yeah.
I don't know, just his general attitude. He was a little more witty than a lot of the others without just trying to be. It's like Matthew Lillard's character, Maniac, just a little too over the top for me. I kind of get the point of his character, but it's still a little too over the top. But Paladin, I think just a good, solid wit that wasn't over the top and unserious. So I think he was probably my favorite. Just that old gruff with a little bit of wit.
Chad, how about you? What's yours?
I like Paladin. So two of mine, I like Paladin, and I like
Uh-huh.
the XO, the one that is very against the program. They're because they between Matthew Lillard character, if you watch him, that's who he was. All his movies he's played was the obnoxious, funny little guy. I got there was no, to me there's not a place in this film, but it made the humor. But that's the only way. Probably, but the guy, the Pilgrim, if you know the actor, he actually played in a submarine movie called Das Boot,
Mm-hmm.
and it to me is he brought that intensity playing that submarine captain to this movie. If you look at when he's in the title call commanding it, other than when the admiral got killed.
Yeah, I just had an issue with the way he treated Blair. That's what turned me off on him. You know, I mean, I don't think he ever said two nice words to Blair at all.
No.
That's why I didn't like him. You know, I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't care for Blair at all, but I just thought that I'm sorry, you're in a position of command. You need to show. You want people to respect you. You need to show respect.
Yeah, but I'm more towards Pilgrim. That's what I said. Pilgrim was the captain of Das Boot, not the SO.
Okay. You're talking about the balding guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry. Got mixed up there.
Yeah. But the thing is, yeah, the SO should have respected a little bit more, but the actor himself is a very good actor.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Hey, we're gonna do things a little out of order. Usually at this point we do plot holes, but I want to get your takes on fixing or improving this movie. How are we going to fix it? How are we going to improve it? Or are we just going to throw it away? You know, it's up to you guys and how we want to go on that. So let's start with John. John, why don't you tell us what would you do to fix this movie or improve it?
All right, before we got on, I said I would just nix it. But I think the biggest thing I would give the story is a set, solid story. I got lost several times. Part of that may have just been the way I watch it, but also at the same time, it just was not an overall cohesive story with backstory and moving stuff and other things. And so overall, like just a more cohesive story because it was entertaining. There was a lot of good elements there. It's just I don't feel that they got tied together in a way that made them work.
Okay. Chad, how about you?
I agree with John. The more cohesive, it was much moving around. The admiral, when they need to send a message. Oh, there's the fight going through there. Lieutenant Blair. Oh, Blair, I knew your parents. Okay, but then I would also change. If you play the video games, the Karathi, you didn't see none of the Karathi until later on in this movie when you see them. They didn't look like they were in the video games. In the video games, they look like a cat, with, like almost like a lion with hair and mane.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like a Egyptian cat, like no skin, just a cat eyes.
Yeah.
If you were to do at least a movie based off a video game, keep the characters the same, not just throw it out there. Oh, we're gonna change it up. Because you got to think, Ring Commander. When it came out, it was top selling games at the time.
Yeah.
And the last game it was made was back in 2007. So you got to think, there's already a following on this movie. People was so ready to probably see it because I played the game. I want to see what they did, how they played it.
Right.
I'll fix the characters and then fix the plot hole, fix the stuff make it where more action instead of just talking. Like this is going in there. Like more fight scenes, more like
Yes, I mean, and that was the whole point of the game was, you're it's a shoot 'em up game. I mean, it
yeah.
was a first person shooter. That's what it was designed for. Um, when they went to Wing Commander 3 and 4, when they started actually putting video in their games of actual
Mhm.
actors. All right, if you wanted to continue the story, use those same actors.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who they are because we're going to get into that in a little bit. But yeah, use those same actors. Either use those same actors that were in the video games, or come up with a totally new, unique, different alien, different everything. There was too many things that they tried to stay with the game, but other things they wanted to switch out.
Yeah.
Uh, get a better cast. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, get a better cast. There was only a couple in there that were, to me, were decent cast members. And don't let the guy that designed the video game write the script for the movie,
Yeah.
because that's what they did. And why they went so far away from the game series, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, so let's go ahead and go to plot holes, our favorite part of the thing. Did you guys see any plot holes in this that you want to talk about? We don't want that area here, so either say yes, no, maybe, not sure.
Okay, so my biggest of big is insubordination in any structure like that would not fly.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the number of times they completely disregarded orders and then nothing happened. I'm like, okay, at some point the teacher in me was dying.
Just slap your hand. No.
Man, it wasn't
Yeah.
even a slap on the hand. It was just a no, stop. All right, whatever. Fine. Just
He
do it
messed
anyway.
up. He's gonna live it alone. He's gonna live
Oh,
for
yeah.
it.
Oh, that was one of the things I said. I said Maniac and Rosie would never have been paired together after that first stunt. They
No.
would never have been paired together as one would be one person's wing. That would never happen. And they would be grounded. I mean, maybe in time of war they may say, okay, suck it up, but then they would have to fly with somebody else just because they don't want to see that again. And they were stupid. They went off. Oh, they said, let's go back to the place. Let's take care of our ships. Let's do this. And then they go out and try to kill one last one, and then they get themselves killed. Or she gets
herself killed.
Yeah.
And then here's one. And it's a big plot hole. You look at it. Look at the time of the year. They're traveling in space. You got to tell me there's no other way to communicate with your ships. You had Star Trek, you had Star Wars, you had all kind of way to talk, and there's no way to talk from this ship over here that's in this galaxy to that ship over there. Come on, without it's going to take 2 days or 3 days to get to it. Communications was you got to look at it. We're supposed to be advanced. We explored space. We did this. So there's no relays to transfer stuff without sending a actual ship to the place.
Yeah. I totally, I can see that. Let me give you guys one. Did not Paladin, that's Commodore Taggart.
Yeah.
Did he not say, and did he not show the ring that was Admiral Tolan?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So why did they send the communication to Lieutenant Blair instead of to Commodore Taggart, who is a Commodore, who is a higher rank than a lieutenant, and already has a relationship with Admiral Tolan? Again, that to me, that was the number one thing that just jumped out at me. I was like, why did he give it to this lieutenant?
Could be on a secret mission. Could be like, hey,
I mean, okay, I get that.
HR.
Maybe he's on a secret mission, but still, obviously, he knows the guy. So he's like, look, hey, no, and even if it's a secret mission, they're gonna be like, look, the Earth's gonna be dead in 2 days, or we're 2 hours short. Pull you off of your secret mission and go. That's that to me. That would have been like, boom.
Yeah, but they carried it. They carried the same thing where remember, Paladin was. He didn't find his call sign was Paladin until they're going after the
Yeah, when he said no, we need to be protecting the Tiger Claw.
Tiger Claw. You're just a civilian pilot. I'm not taking orders from you. You want
Again, to me that was a miss from the beginning.
Yeah.
Just bring it in from the very beginning. Okay. Wing commander. A wing commander typically does not fly each and every mission. They are a commander. They are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
I know the game did not do that. You were the wing commander in the game, so you got to fly the missions. Typically, a wing commander does not do that.
No,
a wing commander will sit back and send his other people or her other people out, and they would not do the way they did.
Yeah.
Call signs. All right. Oh, we got to talk about call signs. Why did Blair not have a call sign? Why did Rosie not have a call sign? But Angel, Paladin, and Maniac have call signs.
Blair did. They called him Maverick.
Yeah, that is his call sign, Maverick. In the game, it is Maverick. But they never called in that over the radio.
Mm-mm.
You guys have seen Top Gun. You guys have seen all these other movies. And I actually talked to a friend of mine who is active duty right now. I even called him. I was like, hey, can you do me a favor, A-Rob? Because that's his call sign. And I said, hey, can you call your commander by his or her call sign when you're just talking and you're in uniform? He's like, no. The only time you can call a fellow officer by their call sign away from the cockpit is if you are both the same rank. Otherwise, it is Colonel this, Major that, Colonel such and such, General such and such. No, you would not be calling her Angel all the time. Mm-hmm. No, that would never fly. And the last thing I have is, since there's no gravity in space, you wouldn't have to go push the wreckage off the side. You just dive the ship down a little bit, and it just floats away.
Think about flight mechanics as a whole in this movie were shot.
Mm-hmm.
You're in space. So half of these flight maneuvers are like, you have an atmosphere. You don't need to do half of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and not only that, but the ships didn't have thrusters for that. There were no back thrusters to like shove them face up. Like, no, they just had back thrusters. There's no air. How are they turning at all?
Yeah, they took total. They took total, flying on the in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
They just said, "Oh, we're just going to put space around it." It's like, I'll tell you, one of the best shows that does something like that actually shows is Babylon 5. If you ever get a chance to watch it, the way they actually make their Star Furies in stuff, they can literally be flying and then they can just literally flip around.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to sit there and bank and go and turn around. It could be boop, because you're already in space. There is no gravity on you. So if you flip around, it's not going to bother you.
I go back. We're going back to one of the probably first couple of movies we watched, Gravity.
Yeah.
You look at it; it was all thrust, this small little thrust.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, have you ever seen any videos of the International Space Station or even the shuttles or anything? They have those little jets all over the place, and they're just
one big. Yep. The closest thing that you see that's maybe realistic in space was the Karathi fighter. Oh, I'm just dropping down real fast. Other than that, you didn't see the other. I'm come flying straight and go like this. Fly like a regular plane.
All right. Before we do our ratings, I've got something different I want to discuss here. All right. Wing Commander there was actually 5 games, but I only did 4 on the screen. There was one of them was the DLC. So there's 4 games: Wing Commander 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. I want you guys to see this. Okay. So this Wing Commander 1, you were basically a first-person shooter You got to fly around. You got to blow up the bad guys. Same with Wing Commander 2, except for you got an option of having the joystick over on the right. And you typically flew this thing with a joystick. You're not using a mouse to fly it. So, okay, Wing Commander 3, you can notice that if you notice the right in the middle of where the rectile's on is doesn't that look like a Cylon Raider from Battlestar Galactica? I'm sorry, it looks just like one to me from the 1978 series. But you can see the graphics got much better, and some people couldn't do it because their computers weren't as fast as so they couldn't do some of this stuff.
The graphics couldn't handle that.
So then Wing Commander 4, they totally changed everything and decided to do a top-down view and say that's how you're going to attack and destroy everything. So it changed quite a bit over the time.
Yeah.
Now, all right. Let me talk about Blair and Maniac. Our favorite two people in this movie that we've all said earlier that we love them to death. Well, this was the first time they were together, but not the last.
No, they were together before this.
They may have been before this, but they were Fred and Shaggy.
Yep, Fred and Scooby.
I mean, the moment it came up there, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Shaggy. And then I was like, wait a minute, I know him from somewhere. Where do I know him from?
Fred.
It's Fred. Oh gosh, no way.
I already knew. I mean, I was like, bring it. You got Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah,
you got Lillard. I'm like, you got Fred and Shaggy out
there. Yeah.
But you gotta look at it. She's All That. There was a lot of these. I said teen movies, teens parodies.
Oh, yeah.
So you gotta think those two actors worked together. That's why they had such a good chemistry.
They did have a good chemistry in this movie. They really did. It wasn't a great movie, but they did have good chemistry.
It is, and like I said, good chemistry, and that's probably what brought what's you want to see my rating. It's not going to be flying colors, but it's not going to be bombing.
All right. Well, we're going to do it here in just a minute. All right. You see this ship? This actually is what the Rapiers were in the game.
Yeah.
What does that remind you of? Does it give you any vibes of a different movie?
Star Trek.
Okay, Star Trek.
No, it's not Enterprise stuff, but it's the almost the can't remember. It's bad guys. I can't. Klingon.
Maybe a little bit, but I kind of thought of it's more of. It reminded me of Firefox. To me, it looked just like the thing. So,
there.
Point. This is actually what the Tiger's Claw looked like in the different series.
Yeah.
Oh, much better.
Much better.
Much better.
Because you can see it actually has like a long runway and everything for you to land on and such.
Yeah, it looks like an aircraft carrier just in space. That would be the idea.
That's what it was designed for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go ahead and do now here. I have a different new segment. Brand new segment. Versus. So I'm not going to do this very often because this is one of the few where you've actually got a video game versus a movie. So would you rather? We go here. Would you rather have Admiral Tolan? Would you rather have Sark from Tron or Soren from Star Trek Generations? Actually, in number 3 and 4, Malcolm McDowell was actually played Tolan in the game, in the 2 games.
This is very hard because I like both characters.
I know,
and it's like.
However, most people, John, let me just throw this out there. Most people hate Malcolm McDowell in the Star Trek world.
Yeah, I don't like
because he's the one that killed Kirk.
Yep.
Personally, I'm going to go with Sark.
I am too.
I think so too. Yeah.
I like Tron. Both are good, but Sark from Tron plays it better.
Yeah. Okay, here you go. Next one. Okay, Todd Maniac Marshall. You can either have Shaggy or you can have Biff.
Shaggy.
Biff.
I'm
No
saying
questions
Biff
asked.
all day.
Shaggy.
I
Give
Biff
me
all
Shaggy.
day.
But yeah, he actually it is the actor that played Biff in all the Back to the Future
Yeah.
trilogy.
And the
Except
thing
I don't
you
like
can see
Biff
he
enough.
was a lot smaller. He had lost a ton of weight.
You gotta look at this. Lillard, Shaggy, funny. What probably what element to it? Biff, like, in the game is he was more serious. It was like
He was very serious in the
so
game.
yeah. Then that's what it made it compare. I'd rather do the video game than watch this movie again.
Yeah. Okay. Last one. All right. Christopher Maverick Blair. Would you rather have Fred from Scooby Doo or Luke from Star Wars?
I do
Because
Luke Hamlin.
Luke.
Mark Hamill actually did all the video and recording for this movie. Not the movie, I'm sorry, for the video game.
And
He
then
actually did all of it.
I like the uniforms better than the
Yeah, again, there was so many things they could have followed in the different game. I mean, because there's 4 games, you could have taken the best of each one and put them into one. But
Mhm.
no, they didn't want to do that. So that gives us a perfect time to get to our ratings. We're going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. Chad, since you chose this movie, we're going to start off with you. What is your rating for this movie?
And the only rating is gonna be 1.5. I'm not the movie's funny. It was that's the only reason it's getting it. It's just the not
Comedy in it.
the comedy of it and the not the main characters, but the like we said, Admiral and the Paladin and that. So really, what brought the characters? Why it's got the half. It would have been a 1 for the comedy, but the supporting stuff kind of made it a half for me.
Okay, John, what about you?
I am actually spot on with the 1.5. I was gonna give it like a 0.75 from the entertainment value and a 0.75 from the fights value. So I landed on 1.5 as well.
Well, I guess it's a hat trick then, because I'm going to give it 1.5 myself. You know, it was one of those ones that the only reason I ever watched it. I mean, I'm the one that owns this movie. I own it, and I've watched it maybe 3 times in my life, and one of them was for this podcast. So,
Yep.
yeah. So typically, no, I would not really watch it again unless I'm doing something like this where we're discussing it, comparing it to the game or something. But yeah, 1.5. So we're all in agreement. 1.5. All right. So with that in mind, please contact us. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. All right, let me put the banner down here. You can reach us at TheseSciFiGuys on Twitter, or you can email us, TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com. Or the way I tell everybody, just put a comment down in the bottom. Tell us what you liked about this movie, what you didn't like. Hey, tell us what movie you'd like to see. We do have a schedule that we've got already, but we can always make changes. Not a big deal. I think that's everything. Anyone? Oh, I got a couple final thoughts. Let me just have a couple final thoughts. All right. And it's not going to affect my rating, but these are some of the things that I had for my rating. All right. So when the guy's he looks at her and he says, "Oh, she's a grease monkey." Well, the term grease monkey is a derogatory term used for people who repair your vehicle. Now, despite our hero later apologizing for the mistake, I would like to remind you that this is our hero.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man who receives prejudice against himself or his parents, yet has no problem being prejudiced towards those who work under him. Just saying, And he's the hero, the one that's supposed to be above and beyond and all that. So, yeah, with that, I think that's all good. That's about the same thing that we got up and down with that. So, hey, we're a little bit over this time, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And with that,
what's our next movie?
Our next movie, thank you very much. Our next movie. See, Chad's keeping me on the ball. Our next movie is The Battle for Terra. This actually is an animated movie that's kind of done in a different way. I don't think either of you guys have ever seen it, or if you have or haven't, you'll be in for a treat. I really enjoyed this. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but it's good. As thrilling as any original Star Wars
Trek.
they're really pushing that there.
Yeah,
they wanted to get everybody, because
I'm coming after y'all.
But no, this is really it's good. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And with that being said,
Crash and burn.